Hi everyone, this is Sean. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to show you how to correctly fire a warning shot. So the first thing that you want to do is actually warn the person. So for example, if the person has a knife, I am going to tell them to stop, drop the knife. If you do not drop the knife, then I am going to shoot. That is their warning. For the warning shot, what you can do next is place your trigger finger right on that trigger. And what you're going to do is keep your sights right on target and start applying pressure to the trigger. And then it says, the warning was the comment that I made to the person. Stop, drop the knife. If you don't drop the knife, then I'm going to shoot. That is the warning. The shot is what hit him right in the face. Warning, shot.
Hey, butthead. Are we gonna die? Probably.
Hey, some of you gotta just lighten up and stop taking everything so serious. Early in the week, I saw a video that Mike Alvarez made. By the way, Mike Alvarez is one of my most favorite YouTube content creators out there. He made a video on warning shots and how you should not give a warning shot. How he actually took a license course for his exposed carry. I think it's his renewal, his qualifications. And the instructor told him that you could fire a warning shot. This certified state instructor gave him wrong advice. And Mike Alvarez, who is also an instructor, was saying, hey, you can't fire a warning shot in the state of Florida. My Californians, those of you who know me, I'm in California. Because I'm in California, my understanding of laws tend to gravitate towards California. Reading through the BSIS, the Bureau of Security Investigative Services manual, BSIS is the regulatory arm for private security, private investigations personnel in California. Reading through the manual, it actually says, do not fire a warning shot. This is something that you should not do. Now, some of you know what I think about the manual sometimes. I think the manual sometimes would be great target paper. Some of the advice and tips, again, belong downrange. There's no law in California that says that you can't fire a warning shot. What ends up happening is, and this is in most other states, if you fire the so-called warning shot, it will go under your negligent discharge statute. So there's a law that says in your state that you cannot recklessly fire a firearm in circumstances that are not intentional. So for example, you're not intentionally trying to hit somebody. This is something that's negligent. It would be considered a negligent discharge. So most warning shots, again, depending on the state, but most states will agree that it falls under negligent discharge. Negligent discharge. The question is, when can you fire one? There's no law that says you can't. It just says that you can't be negligent. And I've been thinking for 3 or 4 days, maybe 6 days, and I just can't think of a situation right now. I could see where it could be practical, maybe in the military overseas when you're conducting crowd control and you don't have any crowd control options. So for example, you don't have batons, you don't have shields, you don't have CS gas, you don't have all those less lethal crowd control options. Then I could see firing a warning shot may be applicable when, by the way, there's probably open desert or you're in a hostile area where you just kind of want to get out of there. You want that crowd to go away. We saw that in the ending moments of our occupation of Afghanistan. I still can't think of anything, guys. Now, let's talk about a warning shot in the historical context. So, police departments, a lot of them fall under the Lexipol policy. And the Lexipol policy was developed by a group of licensed attorneys in California. very good attorneys who are former law enforcement officers, and they develop basically a standard of policies where a lot of agencies in California adopted that. You're talking about large agencies like Anaheim Police Department, I think Santa Ana Police Department. The large police departments have adopted the Lexipol policy. Not all, but a lot. And in that policy, it's boilerplate language that you could fire a warning shot if it's something that's absolutely necessary. Now, it does say that it's discouraged. And in most circumstances, it would be to render aid. So in the good old cowboy days, this is how archaic warning shots are. There wasn't a radio. You can't call for backup. So if you're in a remote area, you'd fire into the air, or you fire to the ground, wherever is safe to fire. And that would summon the posse, or summon another deputy. If there was fellow deputies there or fellow law enforcement officers, but usually the posse, depending on the area. They would hear those shots and say, hey, you know what? There's a deputy out there or a sheriff that needs some help. I could see that. So if you're in a remote area, it doesn't matter if you're a law enforcement officer or security officer, and you lose contact over the radio, and you absolutely need that radio to get back up to help control the situation. You absolutely need it. And I keep saying the word absolutely because you should depend on what you have. And if backup arrives, then it arrives. That's something that's secondary. Don't depend on that. But let's just say there's a backup option. If your radio goes on the floor and you're still fighting with the suspect, and maybe there's no other choice, I could see maybe considering firing the warning shot to get everyone's attention, to get the attention of the suspect. But in most circumstances, if you're justified to fire a warning shot near this person, you're probably justified to stop the threat. I'm going to say this again. If you're justified to fire a warning shot, there's probably a good chance that you're justified to actually hit that person with that shot that you're just wasting in thin air. Okay? So I'm not going to say never is never, but I'm just going to say it's a rare circumstance. As a law enforcement officer, as a security officer, I've never had to fire a warning shot. I don't know of anybody that has, but there's still a tiny bit utility in it. Now I'll tell you this, and this is what an attorney told me one day. He says, Sean, the first shot in an officer-involved shooting, doesn't matter if it's security or police, the first shot is the most scrutinized shot. Because if you only fire one shot, the hypothesis is it was an accidental discharge. And it could have been a warning shot as well. And it's not intentional, obviously, depending on the facts. There's a lot of law enforcement officers, security officers that just have to fire one shot. So I'm not saying all circumstances. All I'm saying is that first shot, if you only fire one shot, that is a highly scrutinized shot. Those of you who have attended my Private Patrol Operator Leadership and Development 40-hour online course, you know exactly what I'm talking about. By the way, that course prepares you to be a security company owner in the state of California. It also prepares you to manage your security company. But we go into 3 to 4 hours of use of force, deadly use of force, and I talk specifically about warning shots in one of the section. And you guys already know that that shot is the most scrutinized shot that a security officer will take. So let me know what your thoughts are. In what circumstances would you fire a warning shot? I just can't think of almost anything. What comes up, what comes down. I've seen 3 weeks ago, I saw a bullet that actually went through somebody's roof and it landed on the seat. Somebody previously fired in the air. So what comes up, what comes down. You're accountable for each round that's fired. Let me know what your thoughts are. Take care.